In the attic of my grandmother's old Victorian house, I found an intricately crafted dollhouse tucked away in a dusty corner. It was a miniature replica of the very house I stood in, complete with tiny furniture and delicate fixtures. Intrigued by its beauty, I decided to clean it up and put it on display in my room. But from the moment I brought it downstairs, strange things started happening. Late at night, I would hear faint whispers emanating from the dollhouse, as if tiny voices were trapped within its walls. At first, I dismissed it as my imagination, but as the whispers grew louder, I couldn't ignore them any longer. One night, as I lay in bed, I saw movement out of the corner of my eye. When I turned to look, I saw the miniature figures within the dollhouse moving on their own, their tiny limbs contorting into unnatural poses. Terrified, I tried to ignore it, but the disturbances only grew worse. Objects would go missing from my room, only to reappear inside the dollhouse. And every time I looked into the tiny windows, I swore I saw faces staring back at me, their eyes filled with malice. Desperate for answers, I researched the history of the dollhouse and uncovered a dark secret. A family had once lived in the house, but tragedy struck when their youngest daughter disappeared without a trace. Legend had it that the girl's spirit haunted the dollhouse, seeking revenge on anyone who dared to disturb its slumber. And now, it seemed, her restless spirit had set its sights on me. Terrified for my safety, I tried to get rid of the dollhouse, but no matter what I did, it always found its way back to me, as if drawn by some unseen force. In the end, I had no choice but to leave the house, abandoning it to the mercy of the haunted dollhouse that lurked within its walls. But even now, I can't shake the feeling that the girl's spirit still watches me, waiting for the day when she can claim her revenge once and for all. Years passed, and I tried to move on with my life, putting the memories of the haunted dollhouse behind me. But no matter where I went, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, as if the girl's spirit had followed me wherever I went. It wasn't long before strange occurrences started happening again, objects moving on their own, whispers echoing through the darkness of my new home. I tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination, but deep down, I knew the truth. Desperate for answers, I sought out the help of a renowned paranormal investigator, hoping that he could help me rid myself of the girl's vengeful spirit once and for all. Together, we delved into the dark history of the dollhouse, uncovering forgotten secrets and untold horrors that lurked within its walls. But the more we learned, the more elusive the spirit became, as if it were toying with us, luring us deeper into its twisted game. As our investigation progressed, the hauntings grew more intense, escalating into a full-blown paranormal nightmare. It seemed as though the girl's spirit was determined to drive us to madness, tormenting us with her malevolent presence at every turn. But we refused to give up, determined to banish the spirit and put an end to its reign of terror once and for all. Armed with ancient rituals and sacred artifacts, we confronted the girl's spirit in a final showdown, facing off against the darkness that had consumed her soul. In the end, we emerged victorious, the haunted dollhouse reduced to nothing more than a relic of the past. But as I stood amidst the wreckage of my former home, I couldn't help but wonder, had we truly vanquished the girl's spirit, or had we merely driven it deeper into the shadows, waiting to strike again when least expected? As I left the house behind, I couldn't shake the feeling that the girl's spirit still lingered, watching me from the darkness, biding her time until she could exact her revenge once more. And though I tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination, deep down, I knew that the nightmare was far from over.